the Sleeper Protocol. For 300 years, they called us the quiet species, peaceful, harmless, the galaxy's favorite pet humans who never caused trouble. They thought our silence meant submission, our patience meant weakness, our 3 centuries of good behavior meant we'd forgotten how to be dangerous. They were wrong. We weren't being quiet. We were listening, learning, planning. And today, the Sleeper Protocol activates. My name is Admiral Sarah Chen Okafor. I command the Deep Range Fleet, ships that officially don't exist, carrying weapons that theoretically can't work, crewed by humans who supposedly died centuries ago. The galaxy's about to discover why you should never, ever trust a human who says, "I'm fine." Chapter 1. The Lie We've Been Living. They say the best lies contain a grain of truth. For 300 years, humanity's been telling the galaxy the biggest lie in cosmic history, that we're harmless. I'm standing on the bridge of the Patience of Saints, a deep-range fleet command ship that's been drifting in the void between galaxies for longer than most species have had spaceflight. Around me, holographic displays show the official human territories, 36 peaceful worlds, a few billion citizens living quiet lives as the galaxy's favorite harmless neighbors. What those displays don't show are the 17,000 ships currently powered down in the spaces between stars, the orbital foundries hidden in asteroid fields, the research stations buried in dead worlds, the vast network of humans who've been working in secret for 3 centuries, building something the galaxy never saw coming. We call it the Sleeper Protocol. The idea was brilliant in its simplicity. Let them think we'd learned our lesson. Let them believe that getting our homeworld glassed taught us to be peaceful. Smile, trade fairly, never make waves. Be the galaxy's pet humans while we quietly built the largest, most advanced fleet in known space. Today, that pretense ends. Admiral, Lieutenant Commander Rivera reports from the sensor station. We're receiving confirmation signals from all deep-range assets. Sleeper Protocol is green across the board. I nod, watching the tactical display populate with friendly contacts that have been invisible for centuries. Each dot represents not just a ship, but a piece of humanity's greatest deception. Communications. Open a channel to all fleet assets. It's time to wake up the galaxy. The comm officer's hands fly across her console. Channel open, Admiral. All 17,000 ships receiving. I take a breath, knowing that in the next few minutes, everything changes. The galaxy thinks humanity has 1,200 ships. We actually have 18,247. All deep-range assets. This is Admiral Chen Okafor. Sleeper Protocol is now active. Power up, decloak, and show them what 300 years of playing dead can accomplish. Across the void, thousands of ships that have been running silent since before most aliens were born begin to hum with power. But waking up our secret fleet was just the opening move. What happened next proved that humans don't just hold grudges, we perfect them. Chapter 2. The Memory Keepers. The Kethmore thought they'd gotten away with it. 317 years ago, the Kethmore Imperial Fleet glassed Earth, not because we were a threat, but because we were convenient. They needed to demonstrate their military superiority to rebellious colonies and humanity, barely off our homeworld with no allies and primitive ships, made perfect targets. They killed 11 billion people to make a political point. What they didn't know was that Admiral Chen Zhao, my great-great-grandmother, was already testing humanity's first deep space stealth technology when Earth died. Her experimental fleet of 47 ships watched our homeworld burn from beyond sensor range, unable to stop it, but recording every detail. Show me the memorial archive, I tell the ship's AI. The bridge dims as holographic images fill the space around us. Faces, billions of them. Every human who died that day, preserved in perfect detail. Names, histories, dreams cut short, children who never grew up, scientists who never made their discoveries, artists who never created their masterpieces. This is what my crew sees every morning. Why we've spent 3 centuries preparing. The Kethmore Empire controls 847 star systems, I announced to my bridge crew. Population, 412 billion. They've been the galaxy's dominant military power for 6,000 years. I gestured to the tactical display, where those systems appear as red dots scattered across local space. As of today, they have 17 hours to surrender unconditionally, evacuate their military installations, and submit to human justice for genocide. After that, I pause, letting the weight of the moment settle. After that, we show them what a real demonstration of military superiority looks like. Commander Torres, my tactical officer, speaks up. Admiral, even with the deep-range fleet, we're outnumbered 40-1. I smile, and it's not a pleasant expression. Commander, the Kethmore have been fighting the same way for 6 millennia. Linear tactics, predictable strategies, honor-bound stupidity. The tactical display shifts, showing human force deployments that would make most military academies rewrite their textbooks. We've been studying them for 300 years. We know every ship design, every tactical doctrine, every psychological pressure point. More importantly, they still think we have 1,200 ships. The display zooms in on the Kethmore home system, showing their impregnable defensive grid. They're about to learn why you should never underestimate a species that holds grudges. The Kethmore response to our ultimatum was exactly what we expected. Arrogant, dismissive, and completely unprepared for what human tactical innovation looks like. Chapter 3: The Art of War, Human Style. When patience becomes a weapon. The Kethmore response came exactly 16 hours and 43 minutes after our ultimatum. Tell the humans, their High Admiral transmitted on open frequencies, that the Kethmore Empire does not negotiate with prey species. If they wish to join their extinct homeworld, we will be happy to arrange it. Perfect. All fleet assets, I announce. Operation Lazarus is now active. Show them how the dead fight back. What happens next rewrites every military manual in the galaxy. Phase 1. We decloak our deep-range fleet exactly where their long-range sensors can detect us. 17,000 ships appearing simultaneously across 47 different star systems. To their instruments, it looks like the largest fleet in galactic history just materialized out of nothing. Because that's exactly what happened. Phase 2. Psychological warfare, human style. Every Kethmore communication system suddenly starts receiving the same signal. Recordings of Earth's final broadcasts from 3 centuries ago. Children crying for their parents. Last messages from lovers. The screams of a dying world. We want them angry, I explained to my command staff as we watch Kethmore fleet movements become erratic, emotional. Angry enemies make mistakes. Phase 3. We demonstrate technology they don't think exists. Our ships phase in and out of normal space using translation drives reverse-engineered from physics that won't be discovered for another 2 centuries. We appear inside their defensive perimeters, fire quantum disruption torpedoes that turn their shields into decorative light shows, then vanish before they can respond. But the real genius is Phase 4. Admiral, my intelligence officer reports, Kethmore High Command is requesting emergency counsel with the Galactic Federation. They're calling us a rogue artificial intelligence and asking for assistance. I laugh, actually laugh. Perfect. Patch me through to the Federation emergency channel. The main screen activates, showing the horrified faces of a dozen different species representatives. In the center, High Admiral Tethmore of the Kethmore Empire, the direct descendant of the bastard who ordered Earth's destruction. Honored representatives, I say, my voice carrying the calm certainty of someone who spent 3 centuries planning this moment. I am Admiral Sarah Chen Okafor of the Human Deep Range Fleet. We are very much alive, very much organic, and very much done pretending to be your harmless neighbors. The silence that follows is magnificent. The Kethmore Empire committed genocide against our species 317 years ago. Today, they declined our offer of peaceful surrender. So, now we're going to demonstrate what humans do when patience runs out. The Federation's response to humanity's return was everything we'd calculated it would be: fear, confusion, and desperate attempts to maintain their comfortable status quo. Too bad we were already 3 moves ahead. Chapter 4: The Federation's Dilemma. When the Galaxy Chooses Sides. The Galactic Federation emergency session lasted 14 minutes. That's how long it took for 12 different species to realize they had to choose between condemning genocide and risking humanity's wrath, or protecting the Kethmore and facing the consequences. The Federation, announced Coordinator Velthas of the Asari Republic, cannot officially sanction military action based on events that occurred before current galactic law was established. Translation: they were siding with the genocidal empire because it was politically convenient. Acknowledged, I replied, my voice carrying the kind of calm that makes smart people very nervous. The Human Federation formally withdraws from all galactic treaties, effective immediately. What happens next is between humanity and the Kethmore Empire. I cut the transmission before they could respond. Ma'am, Commander Torres asked quietly, are we really doing this alone? I gestured to the tactical display, where our deep-range fleet was already moving into position around 17 different Kethmore systems. Torres, we've been alone for 3 centuries. The only difference is now we're not pretending otherwise. But the galaxy had one more surprise for us. Admiral, the communications officer announced, we're receiving priority transmissions from multiple sources. The first was from the Velshek Mining Consortium, a species the Kethmore had pacified 200 years ago, forcing them into indentured servitude. Human fleet, their message began. The Velshek remember what it means to lose everything. Our ships are old, our weapons primitive, but if you're fighting the Kethmore, we stand with Earth's children. The second came from the Broken Chain Coalition. Former slaves conquered worlds, species who'd been crushed under Kethmore boots for millennia. To the humans who refuse to stay dead, their leader transmitted, we offer what little we have. It's time the galaxy remembered that some things are worth fighting for. By the end of the day, our isolated human fleet had grown to include 237 ships from 17 different species. All of them united by one simple principle: that genocide should have consequences. It seems, I told my bridge crew as our allied fleet moved toward the Kethmore homeworld, we're not as alone as the Federation thought. The Battle of Kethmore Prime lasted 6 hours and redefined what galactic warfare looked like, but the real victory wasn't military. It was proving that some flames never die, no matter how long you think they're extinguished. Chapter 5: The Reckoning. How the Dead Teach the Living. The Battle of Kethmore Prime wasn't really a battle, it was a demonstration. Their homeworld's defenses were legendary. Orbital platforms that could crack moons, shield generators powered by dying stars, automated defense networks that had never failed in 6,000 years of operation. We cracked them in 6 hours, not through superior firepower, though our quantum disruption torpedoes helped, not through overwhelming numbers, though our allied fleet was impressive. We won through something the Kethmore had never learned to fight against: 300 years of patient human planning. Deploy the memorial satellites, I ordered as our fleet established orbit around their capital world. Across Kethmore space, thousands of small devices began broadcasting simultaneously. Each one contained the complete record of Earth's destruction, not just the official histories, but everything: personal messages, childhood memories, love letters, lullabies sung by mothers who would never see their children grow up. We flooded their communication networks with the voices of the dead. The human strategy, Commander Torres observed, watching Kethmore ground forces laying down their weapons rather than continue fighting, is psychological as much as military. More than psychological, I corrected. It's educational. They need to understand what they destroyed, who they killed, what they cost the universe. The surrender came at 1847 hours, Standard Time. High Admiral Tethmore himself transmitted the unconditional capitulation of all Kethmore military forces, but the real victory wasn't their surrender. It was what happened afterward. "Admiral," my communications officer announced, "we're receiving messages from across the galaxy. Independence movements, liberation fronts, species who've been waiting for someone to prove that oppression can be defeated." The holographic display lit up with thousands of signals from every corner of known space. Oppressed populations who'd been waiting centuries for proof that the strong could be held accountable, that justice was possible, that the dead could speak for themselves. "Ma'am," Commander Torres asked, "what do we do now?" I looked at the faces of my crew, humans who'd spent their entire lives preparing for this moment, who'd carried the weight of 11 billion graves across 3 centuries of patient planning. "Now?" I smiled, and for the first time in 300 years, it was a smile of genuine satisfaction. Now we help the galaxy remember what it means to be free. The Sleeper Protocol's success sent shockwaves across every civilized world. But our real work was just beginning. Because once you prove that the dead can return to demand justice, every tyrant in the galaxy starts wondering if they're next. Epilogue. The New Galactic Order. When the Quiet Ones speak. 6 months after the liberation of Kethmore space, the galaxy looks very different. The Kethmore Empire no longer exists. Their former territories are now independent worlds, protected by joint human-alien fleets and governed by species that had forgotten what self-determination felt like. The Galactic Federation underwent what historians will probably call rapid democratic reform, a polite way of saying that half their member governments fell when their own populations demanded to know why they'd sided with genocidal empires. And humanity? We're no longer the galaxy's quiet, harmless neighbors. We're the species that proved the dead could return, that patience could be weaponized, that 3 centuries of playing dead was just preparation for the galaxy's most spectacular resurrection. Admiral, my new aide, a young Velshek named Kethara, whose family died in Kethmore labor camps, reports, "The Free Worlds Alliance is requesting our assistance with the Dreshen corporate hegemony. Apparently, they've been using slave labor for 800 years and think their corporate charters make them untouchable." I review the intelligence files, noting familiar patterns. Another old empire. Another assumption that might makes right. Another group that needs to learn what accountability means. "Deploy the 3rd Deep Range Fleet," I order, "and prep the memorial archives. Time for another educational opportunity." Because that's what humanity has become, the galaxy's teachers. The ones who remind civilizations that some crimes echo across centuries, that some debts must be paid, that some silences are just the universe gathering breath to scream. The Sleeper Protocol worked because it was based on a fundamental truth about human nature. We don't forget. We don't forgive. And we never, ever stop planning. The Quiet Ones, I tell Kethara as we watch another deep-range fleet prepare for deployment, are always the most dangerous. Because while everyone else is making noise, we're listening, learning, planning. And when the time comes, I smile, thinking of 11 billion voices that finally got their chance to speak. When the time comes, we make the galaxy remember why silence should terrify them. The Sleeper Protocol wasn't just a military operation. It was proof that some wounds never heal, some debts are never forgotten, and some species should never be underestimated. Every human who's ever been told to be quiet, every person who's ever swallowed their anger for the sake of peace, every voice that's been silenced by those in power, this story is for you. If this story gave you chills about the power of patient planning, smash that like button now. Here's what's coming next week. The Memory Wars. What happens when other species discover that humans have been recording everything for 3 centuries, and some secrets were never meant to be revealed? Subscribe because this is just the beginning. The galaxy thought one human resurrection was shocking. Wait until they discover what we've been building in the spaces between stars. Drop a comment. What would you do if you discovered your species had been planning revenge for 3 centuries? How long is too long to hold a grudge? Share this with anyone who's ever been underestimated, because sometimes the quiet ones aren't weak, they're just getting ready to speak. This is Admiral Sarah Chen Okafor, signing off from the bridge of humanity's greatest secret. Remember, when someone tells you to be quiet, start planning. When they tell you to forget, start remembering. And when they tell you you're harmless, show them exactly how dangerous harmless can be.